Hi everyone, and welcome again to another English with Joseph. Well, today we're going to talk about some idioms, we'll talk about books, and then we'll talk about today's news. So let's begin with the idiom. Well, I have a very interesting idiom for you today, and it's called to keep something under your hat. For example, you might hear someone say, "Oh, keep that under your hat." "Oh, don't tell John, keep it under your hat." "Oh, don't tell the boss, keep that under your hat." "Oh, don't tell the government, it's better if you keep that under your hat." And it means to keep something private. Usually, we use it when we don't want to tell someone in authority something. For example, imagine you have a dog in the house and your landlord has told you that you should not have any pets. Then you would have to keep it under your hat. In other words, it's something that you wouldn't tell him. Or imagine your friend tells you that he's going home from work 1 hour early and he asks you to keep it under your hat so that the boss doesn't know. Sometimes to keep something under your hat can be something very, very bad, but sometimes it can be something very, very trivial. But it's a way that you tell someone else not to tell anyone. "I'll tell you something if you promise to keep it under your hat." Sometimes we use it when we're talking about gossip. "Oh, did you hear what happened at the party last night?" "Well, I'll tell you, but you must promise to keep it under your hat." Okay, so under your hat or under the hat, but usually under your hat works best. So let's look at a few more examples. "Did you hear what happened at the party last night?" "I'll tell you if you keep it under your hat." "Oh, I don't want my boss to find out I left an hour early last night. I'm going to keep it under the hat. I'm going to keep it under my hat. Please, can you keep it under your hat?" Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Okay, so to keep something under your hat is the most common way of using this, but sometimes you can say, "Keep something under my hat," or you can even say, "Keep something under the hat," but usually my and your is most common. For example, "I'm going to tell you a secret now, as long as you promise to keep it under your hat." Okay. That's a good example. That's a good example. So that's today's idiom, to keep something under your hat. Okay, well, I asked all of you to write to me and tell me about your favourite book, and thank you for those who have done. Well, I received an email from Alex in Germany, and he told me his favourite book is definitely Harry Potter. I also received a Facebook message from Juan here in Spain, and he told me his favourite book is also Harry Potter. I received a message from someone in China telling me that their favourite book is one of the greatest Chinese novels, which is called The Journey to the West, which is the story of a Buddhist monk who travels to India to collect sacred scriptures. This is actually a wonderful book, Journey to the West. It's been dramatised, I don't know how many times. When I was growing up in the 1970s, there was a TV serial called Monkey. I think nowadays it's called Monkey Magic. And I remember this very well, this dramatisation of the Buddhist monk called Tripitaka, who is travelling with a monkey, a pig, a fish and a horse across China, going to India. And it starred a very famous Japanese actress who's dead now, I think her name was Masaki Natsumo. Masaki Natsumo? Masaku Natsumo? Masako Natsume. Masako Natsume? I'm not very good with Japanese names, but anyway, Masako Natsume, I'm sure was the actress's name. And this TV serial was from the 1970s. It was produced by NTV in Japan. It was very nice and very well made. China and Japan have produced many of these over the years, adaptations of Journey to the West, which is based on a very famous book about this 7th century Buddhist monk, Tripitaka. So thanks to all of you who have written to me to tell me about your favourite books. If you would like to continue the dialogue about books or music, of course you can write to me, there's no problem, and we'll continue. Today I'd like to ask you about your favourite movie. Your favourite movie. But before I do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about how books can help you in your journey with English. I think the secret of learning English really is to engage, is to find things in English which are meaningful for you. For example, if you really don't like certain subjects, for example politics, why would you read about them in English if you wouldn't read about them in your own language? For example, in Spanish, if you hate politics, why would you try to read about them if you find a magazine in English? It's just silly. So it's better if you can find your favourite book and then you can try to translate it from either your language into English, or better still, buy the book in English and then you can look up any difficult words. But because of your love for the book, you will keep studying. It's wonderful. When I've been learning different languages, that's exactly what I've done. I've bought a book which was meaningful to me. I told you yesterday that one of my favourite books is Science and Health by Mary Baker Eddy. I have that book in Spanish, in Dutch, and in English. I told you yesterday another one of my favourite books is called Tazkira. I also have that in Dutch and English. I really should download it in Spanish as well. And I keep going back to these books because I love to read them. And this is what I recommend for you today, that you do the same. Find your passion and connect with it in English. On the subject of studying, many people like to study in different ways, but I received an email yesterday from Mohammed in, I don't know where you are, Mohammed. I know you're somewhere in the Arab world. I'm guessing you're not in Saudi Arabia, I think, but you may be in Oman maybe, or Jordan. But you were telling me about using binaural audio. And this is this thing which is called brain entertainment. You put your headphones on and you listen to a beat. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. And what these things do is relax you so that you feel good enough to study. Now, I don't know too much about binaural entertainment, or maybe it's binaural entertainment. I'll leave you to do your own research on it. It's not like hypnosis, it seems just to be a steady beat, which relaxes you. And it is very good, it is very good. I have listened to the link you sent, Mohammed, and it is certainly very relaxing. I put it on last night before I went to bed and I slept very well with it. It was from a website which is called My Noise. Let me just get you the correct website address for it. Yes, it's called the Ultimate Isochronic Brainwave Generator. And Mohammed, you are recommending this as something which we could use to help us study. So thank you for that. And I'll look into that more. But it does definitely change your mood. But it's not a relaxation, a relaxation cassette or music. It is just the beats, and you can just leave it on in the background. If you're listening to some music, you can tell your PC to play it in the background along with the music. I have used it in the past when I've been teaching, to have a very slight beat which the other person can't hear. So when I'm teaching, it helps me to relax. So if you're in a job where you can wear headphones, or if you like to listen to a lot of music, or if you have headphones on, you can use the isochronic tones, which you can find free in mynoise.net. And it looks like it would be very good to help you study English as well. So if you go to mynoise.net, if you go to the subheading of noise machines and the isochronic brainwave generator, you will see some things that you can play with there, and just leave them on in the background. They're just beats. All you hear is ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. And you can have it at a very low volume so you don't really hear it. But it does work well. And thank you, Mohammed, for recommending the relaxation one. I haven't used this site before, so I'm going to try that today. So if you have an English lesson with me today and you hear a boom, 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 boom in the background, then you know what it is. I don't think the other person can hear it. I think it'll just be coming through my computer, but it's very nice and very, very relaxing. So thank you, Mohammed, for bringing that to our attention as another study aid. Okay, I just looked at the news and I discovered about the election results in America. You know, there's a proverb in English which says, before someone becomes successful, everyone has to hate the person. So first of all, the person is hated. Second of all, he's a prophet. And then third of all, everyone loves him. And this may be the case with Donald Trump, because he's saying all these very bad things, but very quickly the opinions are changing about him, presumably because it looks like he will indeed be the next American president. Well, I have to say, the American campaign that I'm watching does not look very nice. They're throwing insults at one another, very personal insults about their bodies and shapes and height and sizes. And these kind of things would not be allowed in English politics. We do fight with one another, of course, especially in our houses of parliament. If you watch our parliament channel, which you can watch on filmon.com free of charge. By the way, you can watch all television channels in the UK free on filmon.com. But our Parliament channel, you often hear someone saying something like, "Would the right honourable gentleman please shut his mouth?" So we do insult each other, but we don't usually do it in a personal way. We don't make personal remarks. We are a little bit more professional. And when it comes to election campaigns, we're not allowed, we're forbidden from making any personal remarks. And I think in the last 10 days before the campaign, we are not allowed any television coverage to allow people to make up their mind. I don't know if that's a legal thing or if it's just a British thing that we do, but usually there's a blackout of media coverage on elections shortly before the election takes place. Anyway, you know what I think of Donald Trump. I don't particularly like him. Anyone who wants to build walls and move people out of the country reminds me of Hitler. So of course I don't like that very much. But I do appreciate the fact that there are some people who feel this way, and well, the next big thing in British politics will be the Brexit, where we try to exit the European Union. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think that's just another political campaign. But that's the story of politics for today. Okay, so just to recap then, I would like you please to tell me about your favourite movies. We're moving into a subject of movies, and I would like you to tell me what your favourite one is. I'm going to begin today by telling you about my favourite movie, which was a black and white movie made in the 1940s, I think, or the 1950s, and it was called Pink String and Sealing Wax. Pink string is the string you wrap a parcel up with, and the sealing wax would be the wax from the candle that you poured on it to seal it. Before the days where we had adhesive envelopes, we had to put a seal on things to show people that we we had signed something personally, or we had sent it personally. It was a very old English tradition. On the back of letters, we would pour some wax and seal it with a special motto or emblem of our family. Some people used to have a ring, so they would pour some wax of a candle on the letter and put their ring on it, and that's why we have the name of some rings called signet rings, because they were used to put their insignia on the letters. That's a little bit of history for you. So a signet ring is a ring some people wear which has a motif on it, and a signet ring would be used to seal letters. In religion, especially in Islam, you can hear a lot of discussions and read a lot about Muhammad and his ring that he used to seal things with. And our kings in history all had seals. This is a religious tradition that goes back a long way, and in the British government they often still seal things, especially legal documents, to make them more real. Okay, Pink String and Sealing Wax was one of my favourite movies, and it was with Googie Withers and Gordon Jackson. I won't tell you about it, you can find it yourself. The English is very good, especially if you're looking for a simple movie to watch. Pink String and Sealing Wax. That is wax to seal with, not sealing as in the roof, but sealing SEALING. So I'm looking forward to hearing all about your favourite movie. Please do contact me and tell me so we can discuss it. We can also continue talking about books and music if you wish. Remember, my books are currently on Amazon at a very low price. If you would like to purchase them, you can do so through the links which you see in the Daily Motion screen above you. Alternatively, if you write to me, I will send you the books free of charge if you tell me which ones it is that you want. Okay? I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. My contact details are wherever you're watching this video, so please do interact with me. Thank you, and until tomorrow, have a very, very nice day. Bye bye.